Hello, my name is Vlad, and this is the first episode of my Devlog. Today, I just want to introduce myself to you, show one of my games, and tell the story about development of this game. Let's start with my introduction. I am a software engineering student, Android developer, game dev, and modern enthusiast. I started to make games around 5 years ago as a teenager. The main goal of this channel and series is to share my games and thought process around these games. Get ideas and inspiration from you. It's sort of a journey for me, so I don't have any end goals. Let's just have some fun. And to start this journey, I want to tell you about my Breakout game. For those who don't know, this is original Breakout game, and this is a current game, the most popular game in this genre. My game was made as a project for my university. It's written on Pascal, and let's be clear, Pascal wasn't my choice, but university decided that this is a good idea to use this language. So, as you can see, it turns out to be not just a game, but sort of a challenge. And I decided to add some additional rules to this challenge. First rule, one file only. This game consists of a single file with a Pascal code, so no sprites, no levels and other stuff, which needs to have additional files. Second rule, ROM-like. All game cartridges were ROMs, which states for read-only memory. That means that I can't even create new files from my game to store some data. Third rule, no data arrays. If you can't use files for sprites, you can always create array 16 by 16 in your code and fill it with colors. I hesitated about this rule for some time, but then decided that this is a little bit cheating, so I decided not to use this technique. And actually now, after creating this game, I think that drawing arrays of colors, pixel by pixel, wasn't even technically possible. Graph ABC, Pascal's library to create windows, draw and do other graphical stuff, is fully optimized and has some strange bugs. It has functions to draw shapes, which works fast enough to fulfill our needs, but when it comes to drawing the same shape pixel by pixel, it takes much more time. And the last. This isn't actually a rule, but I had only 2 days to finish this game at holidays. I was able to round my work time, but I made the decision to make this game on holidays. So this is almost same conditions as in-game jams. 48 hours, 1 zim, and some limitations. Let's move to the game itself. This is the first working prototype of this game which I was able to find now. Of course there were some versions before that, but I haven't saved them. This version still has bold graphics, Racket is almost in its final form, but blocks are too sharp in border. But it's turned out to be stylish enough to stay in this form for some time. Core gameplay in this version was working and funny, but had some faults. If you look closer, you might get what was changed from the original game's mechanic. It's the speed of the ball. In original Breakout and Recognized games, speed is constant. In some clones, it can be modified by upgrades. I decided to make something original about this mechanic and added drag force to the ball. It slows bit by bit while in air, but each hit to the wall, block or racket works as a booster, multiplying its current speed. So, each consecutive hit feels more and more powerful. But it comes with a price, of course. The faster your ball is, the harder it gets to catch this ball. The main problem of this design is what I call downtimes. One ball has more horizontal than vertical speed, and there is no blocks around. At this point you just need to wait for it to get down or find a big bunch of blocks near each other. Surely this isn't the way it should stay. But before we get to the next version, let's speak about Racket. Most of Breakout or Pong clones I've seen use random angles to reflect ball from Racket or use some simplified formula, like this. Simply triangle where you check if ball touches one of its upper sides and then apply reflection formula from physics to vector of ball's speed and side of this triangle. This isn't interesting for me because it makes players' tactics too simple. I decided to go with the idea of what you see is what you get, at least as much as I can. In this footage you can see my formula for Racket. It's curvy and almost matches the shape of Racket drawn in the game. This approach makes math behind reflections a bit harder, because now you should first find the tangent to the surface at the point of contact, then find normal and use it as in the last example. It's not that hard if you have a good math library, but Pascal doesn't. It lacks some trigonometric functions, and for this reason it took me at least good 4 hours to solve this problem. In the next iteration of development, I decided to solve the problem of downtimes. The solution was easy and significantly changed the feeling of this game. Now, you might think that I sped up this footage, but no. It's real speed of the record. This is just turbo mode, which was added in this version. You press the key and your ball moves 3 times faster as long as you hold it. This mode isn't affecting speed and other physical properties of the ball, so when you release the key, there is no long-term consequences. It gives you a little more control of the game and lets you skip downtimes. With that said, gameplay is actually done. Now it's time to make this game a little bit more fancy. First of all, I added some smoothness to the blocks and then make it more contrast by adding brighter contours and replacing some colors in palette to make blocks more distinctive. If you are interested, palette in my case is just an array of colors defined in the file, so that still matches my rules for this challenge. After that, I added some details to rack it with additional geometry. It was drawn with 4 shapes in the last version, now it's 7 shapes. It even has simple animation on the edge, which I really like. To make this game more interesting in terms of graphics, I decided to add some background, and even more, I decided to add animated background. So, the question is, what's the easiest theme to use with cheap graphics? And of course it's space theme. That said, I decided to make some sort of space themed background. First idea was to make stars at the background, which would change its opacity and size, but it didn't look as good as I thought. And it gave me a new idea. Circles was more like planets, not stars, so I added some movement to these planets, and here it is. We are moving through space, and it looks very good. It might be a good idea to make some correlations of movement speed of the planet and its size, but I don't think that it matters for background animation. The most interesting part about new graphics was that line dividers were added to the game at earliest hours of work, to see the layout of the level before I added blocks. Now, in the final version, there is no real practical usage for these lines, but they look cool, so I decided to leave these dividers. And the last little detail, counters. Now you know how many lines do you have and how many blocks is still on the screen. That's it, my Breakout game is done. This was an interesting experience for me, but I don't recommend you to do something with these tools. Use good game engines and programming languages. Pascal isn't for games, it's not optimized and sometimes buggy about rendering. To be more clear about what I mean by bad optimization, there is around 100 planets at the background, each of them consists of one circle, but after adding this background I found that ball moves more than 5 times slower with the same acceleration constant. I haven't found a way to limit FPS in this library, so it works with unlimited FPS, and this means that FPS with background is 5 times slower than without it. Thanks for watching, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to know if you like this devlog, and of course, share your ideas about ways to make this content better. Stay safe, have a good day, and bye!